Yo, bitch. Was je waar tussen VeggieTales, snoepje DMT en waar tussen VeggieTales?
Hello. Hi. So it occurred to me that I might as well introduce myself. I have a pretty vague about me that ChatGPT wrote, which was pretty accurate, but I figured I might as well say hello. Hi, I am the nabu. What is a nabu? Someone who records information and passes it along to other people. Where does the word come from? Well, it comes from ancient Mesopotamia. But before there was a nabu, there was Nisaba. And no, I'm not talking about Bubby, although that is the goddess that she was named after. Let's back up. Born and raised in Chicago, the friendliest big city in America, also known as Chirac. Watch your back. But I did spend a fair amount of time in Brooklyn also. You'll hear my accent go back and forth. And staying true to my Chicago roots, I am a lover of comedy. I actually went to clown camp on scholarship. And then recently, I've taken up stand-up comedy.
I never noticed how sexy Chris Hansen is. When he's like, have a seat over there, I'm like, okay, daddy. Okay, daddy.
Stand-up comedy is definitely a great way to figure out whether or not I'm cringe.
Y'all are upset.
And according to the formula, the more cringe and unhinged, the more you binge.
Good.
I always had access to internet, and I was raised on TV. Born in 1993. I'm just a little regular millennial in the world. I know everybody hates on millennials. No one hates on them more than Gen Z, but I was a millennial manager to Gen Z. Hooray. Oh my fucking god, I really don't want to go to work right now. Because it's just gonna be... I also went to Catholic school, and I've had 4 brain surgeries stemming from when I was 9 months old, along with a series of chronic brain infections. And the last checkup that I went on, my doctor actually described my brain as Swiss cheese. There are literal holes in my brain. So if you ever notice anything weird about me, faces I make, or whatever, please understand, I have literal, I have brain damage. Anyways, but I'm also an artist. I'm a musician. I am a professional astrologer.
Spiritual enlightenment lies before you.
Not just your rando TikTok astrologer type. I've been studying not just astrology, but tarot and other forms of magic and systems of occult thought for 13, 14 years now. Hardcore.
Call me now for your free tarot reading.
But again, I was raised on TV, and when I'm not making music or doing stand-up comedy or clowning or just being silly, I watch a lot of TV. I love all forms of stupid reality TV, such as, obviously, To Catch a Predator, also Wife Swap, all forms of TLC nonsense, 90 Day Fiancé, which I have my own 90 Day Fiancé story. I was almost 90 Day Fiancé during the pandemic in Morocco. There's so many parallels between me and Nicole.
Physically, I'm attracted to Nicole, but just like, for example, 55%.
But that's for another day. But yeah, TV, I love it. I was raised on it. And just general alternative ways of thinking. For example, when I was in Catholic school, it was actually my 6th grade homeroom teacher, Mr. Celentano, because FYI, not all Catholic school teachers are nuns or even remotely affiliated with the church. Just Mr. Celentano was just a gay Catholic Italian guy. But he was teaching us social studies about ancient civilizations, and he told us that there were hieroglyphics of fighter jets, thus beginning my descent into the world of ancient Mesopotamia, Anunnaki, and the very first written words. So, many years ago, when I became inspired by ancient knowledge meshing with the future, I was like, I want to give myself a cool name. So I googled a list of like ancient Sumerian words, because it was like, I knew from Mr. Celentano's class that it was the oldest written language, and I was like, oh, there's a word nabu. Oh, that means scribe or writer. Okay, that's legitimate, that's relevant. And because I'm a creepy little esoteric emo goth kid, the word that I wanted for my first name was to be nightmare. And so for my future language, I chose Esperanto. And the Esperanto word for nightmare is actually koshmaro, but I didn't like how that was written aesthetically, so I changed it to Kosmoro. So the name Kosmoro Nabu actually means, technically, the scribe of nightmares, or the nightmare scribe. Fast forward like 7 years, I'm in Tennessee losing my mind, and I discover ancient Mesopotamia to its full extent. I actually started learning the language. I actually started deep diving into the mythology, because I wanted to figure out, why do men hate women so much? Why is there so much gender-based violence in the world, sex-based violence in the world? So I thought I would go to, again, the very first written word. And what I discovered there was the goddess Nisaba. Here's where I'm going to start sounding a little bit crazy. I feel like this goddess sponsored me in my path to wisdom, eventually leading me to Inanna, the greatest god of gods, queen of heaven, but the only power, the only force that all others bow to in her terrifying radiance. Inanna led me on my path to YouTube, but it was Nisaba that led me to Inanna. And historically, Nisaba was the Mesopotamian goddess of writing, the scribal art, and communication and language. But during the later years, after the Sumerian Empire was toppled over, eventually the Akkadians and the Babylonians, the old pantheon, and especially the female pantheon, kind of went by the wayside and was reappropriated by male deities such as Nabu, who was the Babylonian god of wisdom and writing. But because it's 2023 and gender binary is, and also because it's just a weird convoluted full circle, it would make perfect sense for me to call myself Nabu. What is my real name? I'm not going to tell you, but check out my videos if you are interested. Thank you for listening to this weird rant. I wanted to say hello, say what the fuck am I doing here, whatever, yeah.
I raise my voice.